Hey guys, Joe Fish here, and this is Project Raptor Scales Part 5, The Failure. So, I was in the middle of making my relief cuts for my karambit, because I wanted to do a little bit more filing on my cleaver blade scales before I trace that out, so I had a little bit more of an accurate line to work off of, and I was making my relief cuts on this one. You see here this one little one right here. Focus. And catastrophe. Bandsaw blade, which is going to cut me because I'm not going to catch it. Busted and wadded right up in my bandsaw, or in my dad's bandsaw. So now I owe him a blade. But I don't believe it's 100% my fault. Last time we used it, the gasket was a little bit loose. There's a rubber gasket that goes on that wheel that provides traction. And it kept spitting it out because it had a notch in it. And from the last time he used it. So we took that off and tightened it up an awful lot. Let me move my thumb out of the way. We tightened it up an awful lot. And to compensate for not having that rubber gasket, we cranked right down on it so that way it would hold that blade tight on that wheel. So I think what happened is right when I made that first cut, when it was spinning at full speed, it was just enough to catch it to spin that around and muck it all up. So I didn't get it where I wanted to on that, and I've got a little bit of a fail on my blocks here that I cut for my raptor blade, the cleaver. I used this particular grain here of leopard wood to make my insert. Now I had another one that had the same style notch in it. However, I had one that had a cross grain on it. I don't know if you remember me showing you that. This. And also this is a little bit thinner than the other one. I used the wrong piece. So I screwed that up. I think I'm going to be back to square one on that, but I don't know. I might make it work, but I don't know. I don't really want to use it if it isn't symmetrical, because then it's not going to look as good. So, I might be up the creek on those particular scales. So, but what I did do, and I wanted to show you this, is I am making progress. I did make a little bit of customization to my cleaver. You can see here. I cut probably about that much off the end of it, and also put these finger notches in it. I have it in the vise right now because I'm going to do a little bit of filing. I was getting ready. I prepped that. I put that in the vise. Sorry, I put that in the vise, and I'm like, I'm going to come back to that after I cut my karambit scales. I'm going to come back to this, do some filing, see how I like that, go back, cut that out, and then all I have to do is file on the scales. Smooth them out. Good to go. And then the bandsaw blade broke, so might be up a creek on that. Fix my stash at least. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm a little bit upset that broke. It wasn't really the progress that I wanted to have done today. I wanted to have those cut out and have that filed before I made this video, but then that broke and just put the air brakes on everything, so that kind of sucks. Like I said, I'm going to do some more filing on it, but I think that's what I did to the blade. I'm just going to take and file that, make it a little bit more rounded, fix this a little bit, round that out. I just kind of roughed it out. I'm going to take it in a few more thousandths to finish those lines, but I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to file that first in between cutting my scales. So, wah, wah, wah. Failure. It's cold in here. That's my breath. I'm not smoking. No smoke in my hands. So, it's a little bit cold in here anyway, so I guess, I don't know. It is what it is, I guess, but I wanted to give you an update. It's not what I wanted to have done for today when I made this video, but stuff happens. I have my brass. I might still cut that out. I can kind of measure that, but I'm not sure now because apparently, my brother was just telling me, when I was in high school, I worked for a guy up the road. I was thinking about going to Harley-Davidson Institute of Technology. I was going to go to that after I graduated high school because I was really into motorcycles at the time. And the guy that I went to church with, his dad, who also I went to church with, so by proxy, I used to go up there and work on his bikes with him, and we did a little other stuff around the shop, rebuilt an old Ford and different stuff like that. I helped rebuild a motorcycle from scratch with him, an old 78 Panhead that he had almost killed himself on. Back when he was drinking, he doesn't drink anymore, but he got a little too many of these, hopped on his bike without a helmet. And to this day, this man has wrecked and been in ICU at least 3 times that I'm aware of in the 10 years that I've known him, not including all the other times. He will not wear a helmet. And we keep telling him, Dave, you got to wear a helmet, bud. If you want to keep riding, you got to wear a helmet. He says, I like the wind in my hair. So I was like, all right. Anyway, he had a few too many. Got out of the bar, got on his bike, just started ripping and tearing, and the next thing you know, he woke up in the hospital 11 days later, coming out of a coma with a shattered ankle. They had to sew his cheek to his eyelid to keep his eye in place, so he's got like this little permanent wink going on. But anyway, there's a guy that lives right next to him that makes fancy high-end pens out of exotic woods. So I might stop in and see if he's got a couple pieces that might be just long enough for me to be able to use, or just wide enough and long enough for me to be able to use for my cleaver scales. So I might not be dead in the water yet. I might not have to order anything. I can just pop in and say, hey, this project I'm working on, you got anything of this dimension, maybe even scrap pieces you got laying around. If I have to, $5-6. It's about what I paid for the wood anyway. I just don't want to have to wait another 2 weeks to get the wood in the mail. My dad's a mess. Anyway, there we go, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share. Right down here. Yeah, right down here, there's a little subscribe button. Hit that. Then there's going to be a bell. Hit that. That way, you don't miss out on the rest of these projects and some of the other stuff I got coming up and going on in the future. I don't think y'all are going to want to miss it. I think it's going to be awesome. Let's get a little chance for me to give back to you guys from the company that's sponsoring me. I think y'all know who that is. Also gave me that. So, as always, Joe Fish out.